morning, guys. Hey, guys, my name is Nicola Dickens. This is Free My Cure. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel, whichever the case may be. And as always, I'm an angel. My pillow says so. And keep your dreams alive. As always, that is how we want to keep this going today. I'm going to actually put that down there. Make it a little bit easier for me. So today we have purple prickly from Lotus Concentrates, or Shatter from Nirvana, from the Nirvana Center in Glendale. It's at 75th Avenue and McDowell, basically. Kind of funny, I went there for the opening, the grand opening and their vendor day, and it was really funny because it happened to have been the same complex of the doctor that did my hysterectomy from cancer, from the uterine cancer. So I knew the place very, very well, and I was really glad to see that he is no longer practicing. He screwed up my surgery and a lot of other women's surgeries. I know that he was held accountable. People did sue him. I did not join in that lawsuit simply because I was still sick and going through other things. And I mean, technically, he didn't have really anything that you could get. He didn't have any money. So you would only be able to sue him for money, not his actual license. So I chose not to sue simply because I didn't want his money. I wanted his license revoked. He was a bad doctor. He didn't do what he was supposed to. I died on the operating table for 5 minutes under him because he fucked up. So it was not a good day. But the location is great for them. They have a good parking lot. It's not too bad. That was cute. Oh, now I messed up my hair too. Nice. So we are going to get into this purple prickly concentrate. So if you can give me just a quick second to share this feed out to the world. It takes me a little bit longer this morning simply because I'm actually on time for once. I'm never on time, and I'm actually on time today. But I hate having to delete everything and get everything into the friggin' posts. Okay, almost done, and then we will be done. Sorry guys, there are actual people that look for these messages when I go live, and that's why I'm doing this. So guys, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to join the Wheaties family here on YouTube. We do all kinds of things. Most of the time it is just education. We talk about the different cannabises. We talk about what's going on. We talk about all of that wonderful stuff. So I want to bring that into play here. This particular brand we got out of Arizona, or Nirvana Center. Sorry guys, I'm like trying to multitask and I'm not very good at it. I'm extremely not good at this part of my job. So it takes me a little while, and for that I do apologize. Okay, I think I'm done. Okay, let's get back to our live chat. Pull this one up for comments. Maybe. I know this is the fun part. I'm sorry. I will get there. I promise. We are getting there. Okie dokie. So today we are talking and working with purple prickly from the Nirvana Center. We also have my email out here today, so I have some on here. This is where it came from. This is their lower tier concentrates, I guess is how you put it. So I have my email out here. I'm going to go ahead and, it's already hot, so I'm going to move this around so it's ready for us to go ahead and taste test this. Okie dokie. We are golden. We are golden. Okie dokie. So we have our email going. So just for today, so you guys know, this squirt, this is a squirt set, so it is shorts. It did come from Sheen.com. Again, I will put the link in the bottom below. If you like any of the things that I have on, I put the direct link to the actual product on my YouTube account. I do not make any money off of the things that you buy off of Shein. It is just something that I put there. You can find the Shein website on my website, so it is something that we are incorporated with, but I don't get paid. I do like their stuff, and so I enjoy showing it off. I enjoy getting it. It is one of those fun things, so yay! So let's go ahead and give this a good taste test here to begin with, and then we will move on to what it is. So as always, guys, fuck cancer. So yummy, so yummy. So as a reminder, if you're using an e-nail, make sure that you take your carb cap off because that carb cap's going to get really hot. I've burned myself a number of times on that carb cap. Oh, Dr. Pepper Power this morning. And here we go. And I'm sitting on my pillow. Okay, so this is Purple Prickly. It is an 80-20 sativa hybrid. It comes from Afghani and Northern Lights. It has about a 15 to a 24% CBD or THC level, not CBD. It has no CBD, no CBN in it at this time. The high is one that is incredibly well balanced and ideal for a day or night. Almost immediately after smoking this bud, you'll feel uplifted and motivated talking. Basically, what that means is. My significant other is very shy, very quiet. I'm the talker in the house, so I know that this is a really good strain for him. It gets him to talking. It keeps that communication open. That is one thing I do like to use with cannabis because there's a lot of times my husband, he's just very, very quiet. He doesn't, I mean, he may be thinking about what's going on at work. He may be thinking about what's going on, but he's just a very quiet person. So getting a talkative strain for him really helps sometimes, especially when I need somebody to talk to. So the effects of this are euphoria, happy, hungry, and uplifting. Medicinally to treat anxiety, arthritis, chronic pain, depression, insomnia, migraines, multiple sclerosis, and muscle spasms. So this is a great strain for that interstitial cystitis that I have. It helps relax those muscles down. I can feel it, that head euphoria going on in your head. It's not like it's, oh my God, this overpowering high, but it is a very comfortable high. It is one that you could use and then kind of sit back and watch a movie or watch something that you're interested in or get up and actually do something. So it is a very motivational type of strain. Will it stay is the question. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull out a little bit more. Ooh, my carb cap's still pretty hot. And we're going to go ahead and dab it. We're going to dab the same to see how we feel. When I started out this morning, I was at a pain level of about 8. My head is kind of a little, I don't know, I'm kind of getting out of that, or exiting that mania field that I was in. And what I mean by mania is I cancel appointments, I don't leave my house, I have issues leaving the house, I'll get to where I'm crying all the time, and different things like that. That's what I call is my mania. You can't catch it. You have so much going on up in your head that you can't seem to grasp onto one idea or one thought. It's all of these thoughts all at one time that are bombarding you. And so it makes it really hard when I'm going through that mania to kind of walk out of the house, especially to come out into my garden. I actually feel really bad. A lot of my garden, I hate saying this, has been water deprived because I haven't been able to really leave my house. I've been able to get out here and do the show for you guys and then get back in my house. But as far as doing the things that I like doing or that I love doing, like my garden and all of this stuff, it goes on the wayside when I'm in this mania state. I don't water my garden. I don't find pleasure in those things that I usually find pleasure in. And it's really, really difficult. It's really, really hard on me to go through those because you've got to grab yourself and you've got to pull yourself out of it. And it's difficult because I can see it happening and I can see me going through it, but I can't stop it. So it's crazy. It's nuts. It's this tornado of thoughts and ideas that are just going around in your head, and you're like, oh my God, that's a great idea, and you're trying to grab that idea so you can remember it, and you can't. And it's difficult. It's really, really hard. So I am just now starting to leave that mania state. And I thought, this is the time to really talk about it, because I'm leaving it, and it's fresh in my mind. The only time I think of mania is when I'm actually in it, when I'm actually going through it. And when I'm not going through it, I don't even think about it. I don't know. My therapist will say, "How was your mania today?" And I'm like, I don't know, it's fine. I don't feel it. Mania is a feeling. It is an intense feeling. And when you're in it, you have that feeling, and you can't hold on to anything. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say, is some of my videos, I can see that in. And I actually thought about editing some of the videos to kind of edit out that mania, and how I get off on these tangents and they don't work very well for me, and I have to pull myself back together. That's a part of the mania. And that's why I put it on this channel, and I keep it on this channel, is because I want you guys to see it. I want you guys to know, hey, I am aware of it. I didn't put my rings on this morning. I am aware of it. I do fight it. It's very hard to get through. I don't use big pharma medication to get through it. Maybe I should. I don't know. I use the cannabis to help me get through it. And I find that when I'm in a heavy mania time, that a heavy indica kind of helps. It slows down those thoughts to where I can grasp them and I can make sense out of them. So if you guys are ever experiencing that type of mania, and you can't grab onto one single thought and hold on to it, you can't even hold on to it long enough to write it down, and you're going through this, remember some of those heavy indica strains that you've used. This strain is actually pretty decent for it. It does help slow me down. It does help make sense to me. Oh, good morning, Ken. How you doing? You betcha, Dr. Pepper Power. So yeah, it's hard. These mania states are difficult, and they're hard, and it's really hard for me to maintain relationships with people because of that mania. I'm a 45-year-old woman at the end of this month, and I am very set in my ways. So when that mania hits, I am very, very set in that mania ways. And my husband, my significant other, he knows how I am, and he understands that. And it's taken us literally 20 years to get to the point that we are today. We can get to the point where he can see that mania in me, and he'll be like, okay, I get it, and he'll help, and he'll be able to catch that. But it took a long time for us to get there, and it took a long time for me to feel strong enough and wise enough to be able to talk about it with him. And that has really helped too, being able to open up those doors and say, okay, I'm having a crazy moment, and I'm sorry that I'm having it. I can't control it. We kind of just have to roll with it and make it a little bit easier as it goes, because when it hits, it's like a brick wall, and you have to climb that sucker, and there's no little feet holes or hand holes. And in order to get through that mania, you have to dig in and climb that wall in order to catch those thoughts, those feelings, those dreams that you're going through, because you lose everything and you just want to scream and jump around and cry and laugh, and all at the same time, because you don't understand why all of this is happening. And then I have to put into the mix the fact that my agoraphobia kind of acts up as well. So I got to get out that door in order to do my show for you guys. And that's my pledge to you guys. Because I love this part of the day, and I know some of you guys do too, because you write me and you send me these great IMs or DMs or whatever you want to call them, and I love it. But I want you guys to know you're not alone. There's a lot of us out there that go through this. There's a lot of us that have this mania about us, and when we get there, it is so hard to get out of it, and it's such overpowering emotion, and it hits you all at one time. You don't understand if you're mad or if you're happy, and you don't get it, and it's hard. And I just want you guys to know that yeah, the Nutcracker. I always have compared it to you know, the Mickey Mouse when, I can't remember which one it was. Is that the Nutcracker one where he's in with the broom and the water and everything and all of the stuff is going around him? That's what I think of when we hit this mania state. And it's just this crazy amount of magical power, because it is. This mania is a controlling force that just, it's like, hey, I'm here. You're crazy. It's just knocking at that door and it's saying, hello, I'm coming in, like it or not. And there are times that I will come out of this mania state and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? Holy shit. Even I don't make sense at that. And it's just, but it made sense during the mania. And that's what sucks, is that you're like, oh my God, it made sense while it was going crazy and while all of this was in my head. Why does it make sense? Why does it not make sense now? So that's what we're exploring. That's what I'm trying to find out, because this mania state is just crazy insane. Let's do a dab, because this has been some good talking here. This is all melted. I'm like, oh my God. So I decided to take my wax and put it in a little thingy, because it was sticking to the plastic. So I took it out and I stuck it on this, and it's out here because we're warm. It's kind of melted, but that's my fault because it's out here in the heat. So as always, guys, fuck cancer. Fuck mania too, damn. I saw a comment. I did. Always good talking. You betcha. You know, Ken, there are so many people that have talked to me about suicidal thoughts. And so I'm going to take a moment and we're going to talk about that. Shoot, that one got me. I have personally actually tried to commit suicide twice. Thank God I was not successful. The first time I was young. I had jumped into a yard of pit bulls that I knew would attack me. And I ended up having I got really, really lucky. I only had to have stitches in my head. And I was very, very lucky. I was really not hurt too badly. The owner of the dogs was in. I wasn't thinking. And I did what I did. Because I was being sexually abused by my uncle. And I wanted it to stop, but I think I was 11 years old. And when you're 11, you don't really understand what's going on. And I am very ashamed to say that I believed my uncle when he told me he was trying to teach me about sex. I'm very ashamed to have thought that he didn't have an ulterior motive, but he did. And it took a while for me to come to my senses. What happened was, I was in a private school, a Christian school, and we had a police officer, two police officers, a man and a woman. They had come in to talk to our class about sexual assault, abuse, even mental. Well, no, they didn't talk about mental abuse. It was physical abuse or sexual abuse back then. And we watched a video and we had talked, and it was a question and answer at the end of it. And I had raised my hand and I said, my friend went through something like this, and she said that her uncle was just trying to teach her about sex. And I was actually talking about me. I just didn't, I don't know, I was too afraid to come forward at that age. And the police officer said, that's a very common thing for assailants to say. and not to believe them. That is not what they're trying to do. There are appropriate ways of teaching a child about sex without touching and without, I don't know, penetration. This one's a tough one. I hate this part of the stories. So the officer had said, no, that's a very common thing. And right after that, we had gym class. And we had two nuns that always went down in the basement for gym class. And I don't know why we always had gym in the basement. I don't remember, even during the summer or the more warmer months, it was always in the basement. I don't know why. It was just something weird that they did back then. It was always the basement of the church. So, and it was always quite large. But so we would have to run laps around the basement of the church. And it was usually we would have to run 5 or 6 laps or 10 laps, something like that. I can't fully remember anymore. But I kept running and I kept running. And then the nuns were like, hello, and Nicholas, and hello. And I was so in my head, I didn't hear them. I wasn't counting. I had no idea I had been running. By the time then I guess the nuns were worried, they had gotten everybody out of the gym and or out of the basement, and the two nuns proceeded to tackle me, literally. I wish I had this on camera because, oh my God. I guess they had tried to stop me by grabbing me and it wasn't working. So one nun took one side, one nun took the other, and they grabbed on, and I kept trying to go, and they took me down to the ground. And I don't know if it was the hit that brought me to or what it was, but I just started bawling. And I came clean with the nuns right there on the ground of the basement, and the nuns said that they had an idea something was wrong, and that the policemen were still upstairs in the office. And I said, oh, and she goes, I want you to go talk to them. You need to talk to them because this is really bugging you. Kids don't do this. And I was like, okay. So I went up to the office and sat down, and I had a good 30-minute conversation with the police officers. And I told them everything that had happened. And they told me they had an idea that I wasn't talking about my friend. They had an idea I was talking about me. And I said, yeah. And they sent me home. They told me that I had to go home. And that not to worry, that they would be very closely behind me, but I had to go home. And I was like, oh my God, no. I just told you guys. And he told me that if I told anybody that he was going to tell them it was all my fault, and he was going to make me out to be this horrible, horrible person. And he had told me all the things that he was going to say. And I was like, oh my God, he's just... he was going to say that I had crawled into bed with him and molested him, and that I had done all of these things to him. And now I had to go home. I had to face him. And that scared the hell out of me because I just told the biggest secret that I was told not to tell. So I went home, and I walked through the door, and I was so relieved because Chris and Jamie were home before me, and he wasn't going to be able to do anything to me because Chris and Jamie were home. Now, Chris was the oldest girl. She was, I can't remember which one was the oldest or which one was the youngest, but they were both 17 and 18 years old. They were both, on their way out of the house. I was, 11, and he thought that he could do what he wanted to. And I believe my aunt knew, because when the doorbell rang, my uncle got up to answer the door, and we could all hear what the policemen were saying. And then they asked me to come to the door, or they yelled for me to come to the door, And my aunt grabbed my hand and she said, "What did you do?" And I looked at her, just, like very timid, very scared. And I said, "I told." And the look she gave me, and oh my God, it was like, "You little cunt." And she hated me. I mean, I could see the hate coming from her. She never said anything and she didn't do anything, but you could just feel the hate dripping from her body to mine. Well, I was taken away at that time, so I didn't know what happened to my uncle. They didn't want to talk to me about whether or not they put him in jail, whether or not what happened. So I don't know what happened after that with him. I was then sent home, or sent to a CPS home for the night. Well, it was actually 2 days. So they could get plane tickets to get my dad here or there, and so he could bring me back, because that's how the CPS system works there in Washington. So it was real tough. And all of these things, when you have that type of fear and that type of anxiety at that moment, that's the type of anxiety that I get when I'm in those mania states trying to walk through a door. So it's like this major overload of fear and anxiety and just what's on the other side. And when you go to touch the door, it's like the door is on fire. The minute you touch it, the earthquakes start hitting your head. So you start getting dizzy, and I mean earthquakes. You literally feel both sides of your head moving at once. And you sometimes when you're in a mania state, those feelings will be so explosive that I will literally fall over at the door. So when I'm late, those are the types of feelings that I'm going through trying to get outside to do this. But I don't want to film in the house, because this is my fear that I'm facing every day to make sure I walk through that door. And that's what cannabis has been able to help me do. Without it, I was such a different person, guys. I was not a nice person at all. Please don't sting me. I had no desire to walk out that door, and didn't make myself do it, because I would just pop more of those opioids, fall back to sleep, and that was the end of it. I'm here to tell you that, popping those opioids and going back to sleep, it makes things a lot worse. So I congratulate all of you for being able to do, the simple things in life that you can do. Being able to walk through that door on a daily basis is something I have to pat myself on the back at. And people do it every day. I shouldn't have this fear. I know I shouldn't have this fear. I know I shouldn't have this anxiety. But when you get it, it's so hard to say it's not real. It's not real. You can do this. And that's how I have to go about it. And I know it's going to take me 15 to 20 minutes to walk through that door. But at least I know I'm going to walk through that door. So, I don't even know where I was going with this story now. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, now I'm going to have to tell a funny story to kind of bounce back from this. So, oh my goodness. Life is, you can't, you get the genetic lottery. Some of us are lucky enough to get great parents. Some of us are lucky or are not. I'm not one of those lucky ones. My parents, I don't know. My parents were hippies, and they wanted to enjoy things and enjoy their life. They didn't want to be that parent, and that definitely showed in their parenting with me. So I'm not here to go off on, parenting, but oh my goodness, we all have these journeys, and all of us have been brought to a place that, I don't know, we all need to share and kind of help with one another. There's a bird flying right over the camera. It's so cool. So I don't know if you guys can see me. My eyes were like, phew. But it was like hovering right over the camera for a minute. That was so freaking cool. Now I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to set up a camera over here that I can like start, because the Raffy and the damn rabbit, now with this bird. Oh my god, that's kind of cool. And then I'm waiting. There's this fly right now that it's crawling all over my pad. So I'm waiting to see if it's going to crawl onto the camera part or not. Sorry, guys. We're going to uplift this. We're going to do another dab. Sorry, I'm getting kind of emotional, but that's what happens when you end up in this mania. Is the only way to really kind of relate to what that mania feels like is to relate to a memory that reminds you of that mania. And that one does. I don't know why it does, but it does. The one thing about the police officer, when he sat down, he had me write everything out, and that I do remember. I remember I wrote it all out on like 5 pages, front and back, of a piece of paper, telling every time. I wasn't able to give dates or anything, but every individual time that anything happened, I was able to tell, hey, this happened and this happened and this was when, and this about when, or whatever. And I was able to actually do that back then. I had a really good memory, but not anymore. It's like you start getting older and those memories start fading, and it kind of sucks, because even you're learning. I decided this morning I wanted to do an inspirational quote every day. So I don't know if anybody's seen it. I posted it on my social media. So I'm like, I had to read that thing 4 or 5 times and write it down once in order to remember it. So here we go, guys. Fuck cancer. So my funny story for today, funny things happen, funny things kids do. That's what we're going to name this one. So my son, my oldest son, he is about 16 years old at this time when this happened. And he had gone over to his stepdad's and, I don't know, his new wife's house? I don't know what you would call that. Because him and I had divorced, but he was with my best friend. I don't know, some huge mess thing. But he was over there with them. And she asked him, can I borrow your pad? And my son, being 16 years old, didn't think it through. Goes, yeah, it's in my room on the bed, or wherever, in our room on the bed. Because my 2 sons share a room. So she goes in, she picks it up, and she goes downstairs. She turns it on, and what does she find? Porn. Paused on the screen. And she's like, So she hands the pad over to my ex, his stepdad. And he's like, dude! So now the standing joke is, don't take any electronics from my oldest son without him checking to make sure it's clean first. Funny things kids do. You know how it is. Whew. That one got me. Wow. So I started this morning out at a pain level of about 8. What are you doing, Tickers? What are you doing? I want to say that I am down to probably about a 5. I'm fairly comfortable right now. I don't have any of the sharp stabbing pains as of yet. I do have a bit of that euphoria going on, and a little bit of that throat swelling type of a feeling. It's not painful. It's just kind of like the euphoria is spreading through your throat, kind of like this. It's going up your neck and down your body, so you kind of feel it. Kind of, I don't even want to say blanket. It's kind of like just a shawling or just kind of draping down or something. I don't know. But it is very comfortable. Nice head euphoria. My throat is a little bit sore, but overall it is a very nice strain. So as always, guys, hit that like button if you liked anything that we went over today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the Wheaties family here on YouTube. We are a fun family. I am trying to come up with some new fun ideas that we can do to kind of make things a little bit more fun, huh? Huh, chickers? What is that? All of the birds are out today, and he keeps hearing them squawk. And there have been a couple of birds. I'm like, what the hell is that? Because they sound so weird. And Tigger's just all up in arms because he wants to go through and catch them, but he can't go through the gate. So it's kind of cute. So that is all for today, guys. I hope you have a beautiful day. As always, mad love, and I will see you guys back tomorrow. Bye.